Hi everyone, Jen Bell here for Country Craft Creations today. And today I am going to be making a really fun album using the exclusive Tea in Wonderland paper from Country Craft Creations. This is my next project for reintroducing some of the amazing papers that Tamara has come out with since she started making her own paper. This is absolutely one of my favorites, and I will be using the 12 by 12, which is what is available. I'm also going to be using artisan black cardstock and some basic gray magnets, the smaller ones, which you can get at the store. I'm going to be making a little charm dangle for the side of my album, as I do a lot of my albums. And what I have here are these fun little Alice in Wonderland charms. These are not available at the Country Craft Creation store anymore, but there are a lot of charms similar to this out there. You could even just use clock charms. Tamara has some adorable butterflies and flowers and different charms available in the shop now that you can use as well. So I'm going to put those aside. And I'm going to show you now. I do have my page system as always. All of them are cut out and ready to go. And I will have them right at my fingertips so I can just grab and do this page by page with you. So what we're going to be doing is a landscaped album. So rather than the normal portrait style album, I decided to do a landscape album this time. And this album is going to measure 9 inches wide, and it is 6 inches tall with a 2.5-inch spine. I've done this in the lay flat method that Tamara has, and I will place a link below. The black artisan cardstock, and then my accordion spine system here is for 5 pages, and those have 1/2 inch spaces in between, and the gussets are 3/4 of an inch. So we have 1/4 of an inch down this side, 1/4 of an inch down this side, and then in between these pages, because they're interactive, I have placed 1/2 inch spaces. The chipboards that you will need for this are 2 6x9s, so 9 inches wide, 6 inches tall, and then a 6-inch tall by 2.5 inch wide for your spine. And again, that was done in Tamara's lay flat method. So I'm going to set this book aside for a moment and just show you again these beautiful papers. If you have this in your stash, I would run with it and make something because it's absolutely adorable. And all of us, I know I have several people in my family that are Alice in Wonderland lovers. There's always one in every group of people. It's just a classic. And these are just absolutely beautiful papers that have all this wonderful Alice theme. You have the cupcakes, the eat me's and drink me's of your cakes and your little vials, and just lots of really fun coordinating paper. So in this you get 24 Wonderland Tea themed sheets and tags. And the tags, now I will tell you, I did not use these this time. I may actually when I completely embellish my album, but these little ones on the front of the 12 by 12 can be used to make paper clips for your album. Don't throw these away. They're wonderful to use for that. So I will be using the sheet of them. I have cut that out as well as the cut aparts that you get in this sheet. All of these fun tags I have cut out to use in the album. So let's start. I am going to go ahead and do, this is my cover here, and this is going to be my linings. No, this is the cover. These are the linings. So we're going to start there. We're going to do the cover last so that we don't mess it up. I am going to set everything aside, and we are going to do the inside of the album, starting with the front cover lining. So I have cut some blue cardstock that I had on hand for my linings that matched. My colors has some beautiful blues. You could also use the denim blue artisan cardstock if you have that in your stash. These are going to be 8 7/8. and they are 5 7/8 tall. So these are going to be our linings, and I have chosen to put this little teapot ensemble in the front and this one in the back, and these were cut from the same piece of paper. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to put those down on my pages. Okay, so now I have my mats and my papers down for my inside linings. Next, we're going to go ahead and move on to our first page, which is going to be this fun little page here, which has an element that flips out. And then the back side will be the next page. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start there. And I'm trying to make sure that I have this upright. Okay. So I'm going to pull this off and show you what I have for a base. That is our underside. And I will remove these in their order so that I get them correctly, because we have lots of fun stuff going on in here. Okay. Okay, so first we're going to, I used black soot distress ink on our page, and I've put one of the small basic gray magnets. What I've done is I unstuck it and put it on the side, the back side of our fold out. And then I placed this one on it, closed it, and that in turn stuck it to this page so I knew exactly where it needed to be. And that will be hidden underneath of our fun little card paper here. So I'm just going to get this stuck down. Remember when you're sticking your papers not to go right up on that score line there. You want to make sure your papers line up nicely, but they don't overlap your score lines because they will not fold. And then just burnish nicely, especially around that magnet. And as you can see, when we have that, that's going to hold that closed. Okay, so then we have some fun little elements that go inside here, some different papers. These all are, I forgot to tell you, so our page itself, this is cut from a 5 3/4 by 12-inch piece of the artisan cardstock, and then I also attached a 5 3/4 by 6-inch piece to make one long piece. That was then scored at 8 3/4, folded, placed back at the 0 on my scoreboard on this score line so that I could score again at 4 and then at 7 and I believe 7 1/2 here. Yes, 7 1/2, because you don't want this the same size or it won't all fold. And then what was left over from that, depending on what size score tape you connect your papers with, this will make a fun little tuck spot for us. Okay. All right, so now we're going to add our paper to our flip open section, and our magnet, as I showed, goes on this back piece. So we'll do that one last. For this, I have cut a piece of this fun checkerboard paper, or excuse me, I'm gonna say diamond pattern. So here we have 3 3/4 by 5 5/8, and that fits on here because our page here is 3 7/8 by that 5 3/4. So I'm going to go ahead. I've already inked this in my black soot distress ink, and then I'm going to unfold this, take my pieces out that are in here so I can unfold this and burnish it a little bit better. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to add this. So this is one of the cut aparts that looks like the backside of a card. And I've just rounded the corners to make it look more like a card using a 7mm on the We Are Memory Keepers. You can use any corner punch for this that works for you. And we're just going to turn this into a tuck spot. And how we're going to do that is we're just going to add glue down the sides and down across the bottom. And be as sparing as possible with your glue. I like to actually try to just kind of dab it with my finger too. That just ensures that it won't bleed out across my paper. And this is going to be just a wee bit wider when I cut it than the bottom portion of that paper that we just laid, and that's fine. It just gives us a little extra room in the pocket itself. So now we have this fun little tuck spot once that's dry. So when that's dry, we'll go back and run a bone folder through there, and then it'll be a little bit easier. So then I'm going to open this up, and we're going to decorate our insides here. Now, this is, again, going to be a little bit different sized on this side. It is that 3 7/8. Our other one here is a little bit smaller. So what we have here is I have, if I can find it, is it this one? It is not this one. You know, I had these all in order. Oh, it's the black one. I apologize. So it's this one here. And it looks like I may have cut this a little bit big. It needs to be 3 5/8. And yes, this is 3 7/8. So we need to cut this one down. I'm going to grab my cutter and cut this to 3 5/8. So right there. All right. And then the length of this, again, is going to be, it's 5 5/8 because our page is 5 3/4. I'm just going to go ahead and run my distress ink. Again, that's black soot. You can use any ink color that you like, or you can forego the ink entirely if you like that cleaner look without it. And that's going to go on this page here. And you could technically put your magnets in the front portion of this. However, having all of this bulk with the turning, it may not stick to that magnet as well. But you could also put down 2 magnets if that was your preference. I think I cut that a little short. Okay, so the correction on that for the proper sizing is going to be, excuse me, 3 3/4 by 5 5/8. I cut that a little short the first time, so I apologize for that. But nobody's perfect, right? And I've already inked this new piece with my black soot distress ink. So we're just going to place this down, leaving that little bit of space all the way around. And that's much better. All right, now this piece here, we are going to add another piece of that black and white, and it's not going to line up perfectly, I don't think. We could, let me just see here what I have out. Could just do the blue. Yeah, we'll just do the black. Now, if you're really picky, you can go through your paper and try to cut a piece that's exactly the same. I don't think that I'm going to do that. I'm fine with it not being entirely the same as this. Let me just check this one. I mean, if I have one, oh, here we go. There's one that lines up. So I'm going to cut this piece down. This was our original mess up. So this one is definitely narrower. We have this pocket here is only 3 1/2 to begin with. So we want to cut this down, and we have a flip that's going to go on here. So let's change this to, I'm going to see here, which way do we want to put it? Which way looks better? It's going to be this way. So 3 1/2, we'll do 3 1/4. And that way we know our little tuck spot works. And then this piece of paper didn't get wasted then. Because this was my one that I cut too short originally for the side next to it. And it's already inked for us on all sides. except the one we don't need, so that's fine. So this lines up much better, probably much more aesthetically pleasing to the eye than having it offset with our little diamonds. Yeah, let's grab my bone folder. Yeah, that's much more pleasing to the eye. Okay, and then you just want to take your tuck spot pocket here, and you just want to run a little bit of glue up both sides, just like so. And when I originally did this, I had put my score line in the wrong spot. As you can see, I have two score lines here, and I don't want that, but it's not going to show because we're going to cover this with paper, so it's okay. And I'm going to figure out which paper we want to cover that with. I think I probably have a border. Let me just double check, and I'll be right back. All right, so to cover that little tuck spot pocket, I have cut a piece, again, of our blue, and I've just dove into my scrap bin. I decorate as I go and come up with ideas as I go. And I like to dive into my scrap bin first to see what I have before I cut into a new piece of paper. So this is going to be 1 3/8 by R 5 5/8, and I've already inked that. And I think I'm going to actually do this on the card side so it matches. We're just going to do it this way. As soon as my glue decides to come out of the bottle. There we go. And this is just another tip for you. These are another great way to use the fun little small tags on the front of a 12 by 12 collection. Because they're smaller, you could cut them out and use them to embellish these fun little tuck spot pockets. Just a quick little tip there. All right, so we have this here and this one here. Next, we're going to do the last one, which is this one. And for this, I am going to do this one in, I believe I had cut the blue. Yes, so just the blue. And you could do it with the cards as well. So this whole thing was the cards. I am going, you know what, let me see here. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I think I'll do the card side. So I'm just going to go ahead and ink this up with my Distress ink. And then we'll just have a nice continuation. I like to coordinate my papers as well as possible on a page. And I think this is a good way to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and put my glue on. And I'm going to drop the paper. I apologize for my kitty cat you can hear in the background. He is very old. And I think he might be senile and gets lost in the house. So he walks around whining. So if you can hear him in the background, I apologize for that. So just again, like the other one, we want to just make sure that we cautiously burnish around that magnet because you want to make sure it works, but you don't want to rip your paper. So now you can see this is going to hold just nicely. Now, I've already made a couple little inserts. You can do anything you want for this pocket. First, I want to make sure that we've glued down nicely. And not too much, but we just want to grab a hold of those sides where we glued it down just to make sure that our pocket works. And then I've just made a couple fun little bifold inserts using the black artisan cardstock leftovers and the cut aparts. And this one, I think, which says you're entirely bonkers, but I'll tell you a secret. All the best people are. I think that's a really good one to go here because it matches nicely. And I'll probably put another one of the smaller elements with a pop of color here. Let's see what I have in here. I love all these cut aparts. They just make for easy embellishments and they're just adorable. So I would like to find one that has a pop of that blue or a pop of the, oh, we have a, look, that's a little big. It could work though. Just want to find one that's not too terribly big. We're going to go with this fun little teacup here, I think. And I'm going to need to cut the middle of this out, so I will be right back. All right, so I cut that little portion out of there, and then I'm just going to go ahead and glue this down on the pocket. Just for that little pop of color here. I'm just going to center that right down on my card. Make sure it's nice and even. There we go. How cute is that? Add a little bit of glue there to that little corner. It's not wanting to lay down. I don't want that. All right. So now we have our fun little interactive page one. And also, we'll put something probably in this pocket as well. Maybe a little plain photo mat or something of that nature. So we're going to go ahead and put this in the book. We want to put this in the book so that we can cover up this with our next paper. So I'm going to grab some score tape here so that this can go right in our book. And I am going to use, since I have the 3/4 inch gussets, I am going to use 1/2 inch score tape. Should be fine on here. So we have a little bit of spine left showing. And I'm just going to go just underneath my scored gusset there. Just leave like about 1/8 of an inch there showing. And I always like to put a little bit of glue on mine anyways, so I know that the page stays down. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue just right along the edge of my score tape. You could use 3/4 inch score tape if you wanted to cover your whole entire gusset. I do not. And I'm just going to line this up. My gussets are the same height, 5 3/4, as my pages. So I just want to leave a little bit of that gusset, about 1/8 of an inch of that gusset still on there. And I'm going to carefully flip this over, and I will make sure everything is lining up and then burnish this down. And then we can move on to the next page. Okay, easy enough. So our next page spread is going to be, it was this paper originally, but then I realized I used that for my lining, so I don't want to do that. So this page is just a simple photo page. This is not going to have any elaborate flips or flaps. That is on our other side. So I'm just going to go ahead and ink this. And this will measure 8 3/4 wide, 5 3/4 tall, or excuse me, 8 5/8 wide, and 5 5/8 tall. Our pages are 8 3/4 by 5 3/4. So let me just double check that, make sure. Yes, 8 5/8. And sorry, there's that cat. 5 5/8. Okay. Now we want to put this down like so. And you could do this with the lace at the top. You can do it with the lace at the bottom. However you want to do it, or you can use an entirely different paper. You may even be using an entirely different collection. All right. Let's go ahead and lay that down. Beautiful. And when you lay your pocket down or your page down, don't be alarmed if you have more space on this edge than you have on this edge. Remember that you have a 3/4 inch gusset here. So that 3/4 inch gusset is fine if it shows a little, because we've put our page, as you can see here, down further. Okay. So that is our page 2. Next, we will move on to our pages 3 and 4. All right, so pages 3 and 4. You can see this actually is going to match our other page, 3 and 4, when you spread them open. Now, this is going to be a pocket page. So to make a pocket page, what you need is 2 sheets that measure 6 1/4 by 8 3/4. So I'm just going to double check these to make sure. So 8 3/4 and 6 1/4. And this is the black artisan cardstock that we're making our pages with. 8 3/4, 6 1/4. And then you just want to do a 1/2 inch score line down the side. Okay, so you'll have a 1/2 inch score line down both of these. I'm going to burnish that score line out. And the other one. And then we're going to use a scoreboard, actually. I am. If you want to try to line these up perfectly on your own, I'm just not quite that coordinated. So I'm going to grab my scoreboard, and I'm going to put these like so, and I'm going to add glue to that 1/2 inch flap there. Okay, so that one has our 1/2 inch scored flap on the right side. This one is on, I put it down on the left. Okay, so we're not going to put glue on that one just yet. We're going to line this up first by placing it on our scoreboard just to keep it nice and straight. Because we want that to go down on to the page like so. And I just got glue on my page. It's a good thing we're going to have paper there. And then just open it up and go ahead and burnish out that flap. And now you can see you have this nice thing. Both of them are together. And then we have that flap. So now you just want to do the same on the other side. Flip it around on your scoreboard if you're using your scoreboard as a tool like I am doing. Just going to go there, and then we're going to just put that right down on top of there. And you want to burnish this one really well, because we're not going to be able to get on the inside unless you have one of these super long bone folders like I do. And then you can just kind of slip it up in there and burnish down those lines. So now, as you can see, we have this fun little pocket page. I am not adhering real well right there, so I'm gonna... All right. Now, this page is done a little different as far as how we place it on in our book. The pocket pages are going to slide on to our gussets. Okay. So what I need to do is this gusset here, I'm going to trim it. I'm going to angle these, just miter the corner a bit so this fits better. So as you can see, hold this up, I just mitered the corner there of that gusset on both sides. And that makes it so this can slide on here, as you can see, because we don't go all the way down to the bottom of that gusset anyways. This is the perfect way to do this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some score tape to both the front and back side of this gusset. I'll run it right down the front portion of my gusset and down the back portion of my gusset. All right. And then I'm going to start with the back side. You can do either way. I'm going to peel that tape off. And this side, I'm going to peel it, but I'm not going to pull it completely off. I'm just going to pull it down and bend it over just a bit, okay? This is a little bit trickier than a normal page to place on here. So we just want to open this up, place it down on that gusset, and then pull it over this way just to make sure that it is lining up nicely with your other page that you have here. And it is, so I'm going to go ahead and push that down, and then I'm just going to pull that tape right out of there and push that side down. And there's our page 2-3, and we have a nice little pocket here to put a photo mat or something in. Super simple to make these, and you can do them any size as long as you can make a 1/2 inch scored gusset on either side. You can make any sized pocket page work. All right. So now we have our pocket page. We're going to go ahead and decorate it with this paper, which is the same as this one, so that they coordinate nicely. And technically, I'm placing these papers upside down to put the lace across the bottom, but it's fine. Don't be afraid to turn your paper different ways. Unless there is writing on it that needs to be read or a specific pattern, you can turn your paper any way you like. I'm just going to pick up my page so I can make sure that is all lining up nicely, and it is. So I'm going to go ahead and burnish that down. And again, we will go back and probably do some more fancy stuff on these pages. I just, right now they're just photo mats. I probably will end up adding maybe some little pockets or some die cuts. I'm not quite sure yet. So on to page 4. Page 4 is going to be this lovely pink. Wait, is it this one? Yes, it's this pink paper here. And then we have the edge. So we're going to put the pink on first. It's got the keys and the teapots. And I will tell you that this is a 2-piece page. So this has a little border on the edge of the blue diagonal is what I've used. So this is not quite as long as the rest of our papers. This is going to be 7 5/8 by the 5 5/8, and then we have the other inch in this paper here. All right, that's all lined up. And then I'm going to ink up this one. This is a little more than 1 inch. I'll get you the actual measurement here in just a second. So we're 1 1/4 inches on this. And then that's going to overlap a little bit onto our pink paper. But we want to line it up with the top and the bottom. And now we have this fun paper. Pages 3 and 4. On to page 5 and 6. I set my book aside. And here is our page 5 and 6. We're going to have a matching border strip and then the flip side of the pink on the first page here, page 5. Okay, and then the back side, page 6, has a little flap. All right, so I'm going to drop all this stuff down, and we are going to start with this one. So we want our border on this side this time. So we're going to put our pink paper down first. Like I said, it's the flip side of what we did on page 4. You could do the other side again if that's what you prefer. This one has a bit wider piece of the blue diamond because we are going to turn it into, excuse me, a tuck spot for a photo mat. All right, so we have that down. And then we're going to have the blue, but this is going to be a little tuck pocket. So this is a little bit wider than the small border strip that we put on the other page. And it's just meant to match that page, but this, like I said, will have a photo mat tucked into this pack. Now, this one you could turn into a pocket if you choose to. This one is 1 3/4. So we're just going to do glue on the sides. And down the bottom. And that in turn, and put your glue on this side. So your opening is this way. Line it up with that paper is the easiest way on the top and the bottom. If it's lined up with your pink paper underneath, then it is good. And now we have another fun little tuck spot once it's dry. So now we're going to put this in the book. And as you see, we have this nice cohesive look. Go ahead and put my score tape on my gusset here. And you can miter all the corners of your gussets if that is a look that you prefer. I only put them on ones where I'm sliding a pocket over, just because it makes it more, it works better if you do it that way. So I'm going to place this down. And I'm just going to kind of put it on there lightly so I can make sure that I am lining up with all of my pages. I don't want my pages to go crooked, so you just want to make sure that that last page lines up nicely before you burnish down that score tape. Otherwise, you won't have a good stick. So this is another one. We're going to have a magnet in this. This is going to be the start of another fun little collage look here. So we're gonna have our bunny here, and we are going to have, that's not correct, I need to find the right papers. This piece, I do believe, let's see here. No, it's this piece. So then this goes here, and our next page will go with this really, really well. And then we have, I'm thinking it was this way. Oh. I have these all pre-cut out, and by doing that, I'm not lining up here. I did not cut these to line up, so that's all right. So for this one, we want to put a set of magnets. So we're going to have a magnet underneath here and a magnet on our door here. So I'm going to grab a set of magnets, a plus and a minus. All right. I'm going to put those together. I'm going to pull off my stickies on the back and the front. And then this is where you want to take your paper out and put this on your door underneath here, okay? And then we're going to put that magnet back on that's stuck to my finger. And we are going to do the same thing we did before. And now you see you have it all ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and place a piece of score tape down over these so they don't move around while we're doing this. Just added security. For those magnets so they don't slip. Okay, so let's put the page with the rabbit down first. All right. Place that down. Okay, make sure you burnish nicely around that magnet. And then we will grab a piece that's going to go inside here, which I'm having trouble remembering which one it is. This is our outside piece. So it has to be this one. Okay. Our diamonds are not going to line up. Again, if you're a stickler, you can cut your paper to make sure that yours line up perfectly with the others. It's kind of hard to do because this is the flip side, and I didn't want the flowers on this side, so we're just going to do it the way it is. All right. Now you might want to take your book and bend it over as much as you can and just kind of sneak under there to get that burnish down. Or you can decorate this part of the page before you put it in the book just to make sure that that gets burnished really well. So we want to make sure everything closes. And then we can put our other piece on. All right. All right, then you have this little fun flip out. Room for photos here, room for smaller photos or some journaling over there. And then our page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is going to mimic this one. So we'll have this in the middle, we'll have this over here, and this kind of flows, as you can see. So page 7 is done the exact same way, magnets and all, as this. So just repeat all the steps from this, but do it the opposite direction. So okay, so I have put together page 7. Like I said, it is spread to look this way when you have it open. And it was done, it's a mirror image of this one. So we have our magnet here and here on this one, and the same on this side. So we have a magnet under here and a magnet here. So this was placed together exactly the same way. So our page 8, excuse me, is going to be this pretty blue script paper, and then we will have a strip of the floral paper, And this will all coincide with our page 9, as you see here. So for this, I have the blue paper measuring 7 5/8 by 5 5/8. And then this is 1.5 by 5 5/8. So I'm going to go ahead and put those down. All right. All nice and down, and then add the strip. And when you add this strip, you can add it just like it is, or you can put the glue only on the top, bottom, and down the side here and make it a tuck spot if you like. So that's that. Next we will finish with page 9 and 10. And page 9 is just going to have our floral paper. So I will go ahead and put that on and put this in the book and be back with you for page 10. All right, so our page 10 is very similar to the pocket page that we did on page 3-4. So our final 2 pages, the back and the front, are on a pocket page as well, done the exact same way. So again, I mitered my corners and slid that over just like we did with the first one. And now this page is going to have a couple of flaps with some magnets. We're going to have this as our base page. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to put down our flaps. And these are 4 7/8 by 5 3/4. This one is scored on the left at 1/2 inch. And we will just take that 1/2 inch and add glue to it, if I can get my glue to come out of the bottle. There we go. So you want to place these flaps down first. And I'm just going to hold open my pocket page because it's going to line up right with this with the edge here on, and then we want to make sure it lines up top and bottom. We don't want any overlapping. So let me see here. Yep, there we go. And then just run a bone folder down this. And on the inside as well. Now it looks like we're a little over, so I'm probably going to have to. And if you have that same issue, as you can see, I'm just a tad bit longer for some reason. I think it has to do with the pocket page folding right here. So I'm just going to go in with some smaller scissors and trim that a little bit. I mean, it's not really an issue, but more of an aesthetic thing for me. There we go. Just that little score line was a little bit longer. So there's that side. And then we're going to do one on the other side as well. Again, 4 7/8, 5 3/4. This one is scored down the right side at that 1/2 inch mark. And this time we're going to go pretty close to the very edge. So almost right to the end of our gusset for the page. And as you can see, that's going to leave a little bit of space in between, just enough so these don't touch each other when they open. Okay, so that's what we have so far there. Next, you want to grab magnets if you want to use magnets. I'm actually going to put some pockets on here and make this closure with a photo mat rather than using magnets. But if you wanted to use magnets, you would put a set with one here and here and the same on the other side. And that would be your best bet for closing. Or you could do a band system where this is attached here and there is a magnet here. So I'm going to do, I was going to do the pocket system, but I'm thinking more and more about doing the bar system. So I think we are going to put a magnet. So what I want to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to grab, I don't know that I want to use this specific one. Let me see what else I have in here for all these fun cut aparts. I mean, we could use one of these. Yeah, we're going to use one of these larger. This one here is cute. Okay, so I'm going to back this piece with some black paper, I think. Yes. So I'm going to take some black artisan and I am going to cut it so that it fits 4 by 4. So we want to go with 4 1/8 by 4 1/8 on the black artisan. If you wanted more to show, you could do 4 1/4 as well. And this is perfect for me. And then this will be here. Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to ink this up real quick and adhere it to my black artisan piece. This is kind of an afterthought that I was going to do the other method where I use pockets to close, but I think in the end this is just a better plan. So in order to do this, we want to grab a set magnets out, a plus and a minus. Put those together. And then we're going to attach it to this side. So what we want to do is put this right in the middle so I know where I want that magnet. And this is going to be a little bit difficult because it wants to be difficult, I guess. So I want that like so. And I'm going to pull this one off. I'm just going to put a little bit of score tape here on the back side of one of these. So it'll be this one. Just enough so I can adhere it to the page because I'm putting it on the top rather than the bottom. So then we have a magnet there, see? Okay. So I need to put this down right about there. Looks good. All right. And there's our magnet down there. Now we can cover that all up. And my glue dried because I waited a little too long. All right, so I'm just going to place glue over that, cut apart, and we have our magnet here that this will cover. Line that up a little better. I just want to make sure I burnish that really good around that magnet, especially. And then we can lay this page down, which is this sheet here with all the fun little hats and cupcakes and Alice's on here, little bottles that say drink me, and the cards. Super fun paper. I'm going to go ahead and put this down, and as always, you can decorate your album any way you choose. And as you will see in the walkthrough of my finished album, I will be going back and embellishing my pages using the cut-aparts, using some other elements. I may add some pockets or some flaps, as well as some inserts and photo mats. But I like to leave that, as far as tutorial, to your imagination, and so you can do whatever works for you for your album. But now you have an idea of how the pages are. You can also put these pages in another order if you like. If you want the flat pages on the back, you can do that. If you want them on the front, you can do that. It's totally to your discretion what you want to do. So I have this pink, the back side of the cut-aparts actually. And this is going to be my paper that goes on the covers of the flaps. And I'm going to go ahead and put that down on this side so that I can show you how to glue our magnetic flap if you are doing it this way. Like I said, if you don't want to do it a magnetic flap, you can just put magnets on these individual flips here and then put two underneath, and you will get the same result. Okay. Now, as you can see, when this is closed, this will close this whole thing up. So that is that. I'm going to do the mirrored image, which is this on this side, and cover the bottom two. And then I will be back to show you my cover and my back, and in a total walkthrough of the finished album. So thanks for bearing with me with some of the mistakes that were made, and I hope that you make an album like this. This landscape album was really, really fun, and grab yourself this Alice paper. The tea in Wonderland is just adorable.